Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. For today's video I'm going to be combining both day 2 and day 3 just because day 2 isn't the most representative day of testing, so rather than talking about the cars one by one, I'm going to talk about the issues that each team has had over the day. But before we go into the issues, the shock of the day, Zhou Guanyu topped the charts. But it comes with a little caveat because he did do it on the fastest tire and Max kind of did the same with a much slower tire. So yeah, but like it doesn't matter. He topped the charts, so well done Zhou Guanyu. Max had an issue, but it was anything major and Red Bull was able to fix it quite easily, so we can move on. Alpine had an issue with the suspension and they've had an issue with the rear wheels on the rear axle. Well, taking off the rear axle is what the issue is, so it'll be interesting to see if their pit stops are going to be longer or we're going to have another Valtteri Bottas Monaco situation. So yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. Mercedes is struggling with the balance of the car. Lewis Hamilton's really complaining about that one, and they've also had to send a gearbox back somewhere to get it fixed. Alfa Romeo also had an issue. They had a gearbox problem or an engine problem. I'm not really quite sure which one it was because people are saying different things, but it's quite interesting because that happened once the lights went down and that's the conditions of the track on the race day. So we're gonna have to see if this problem persists. But when we get to day 3, I'll tell you that it will persist, but we're gonna we don't know what the reasoning is, but we'll find out soon. Aston, Haas, AlphaTauri and Williams, they all had a pretty good day, a decent day. Will Buxton called it Williams' best test in a while. So yeah, Williams is also one to watch out for. The biggest issue, or the biggest talking point, is McLaren because they aren't having a good testing period. Zak Brown has come out and said that they've missed their development targets, but as Ted rightly put it, that doesn't really mean anything because they could have just set their targets too high. They could have been like, we want to beat Red Bull, we want to beat Ferrari, we want to win the world championship. It's not unachievable, but it's quite ambitious. So missing their development targets doesn't really mean anything. Now, the biggest issue with the car is that it's not competitive. It's working fine, it's reliable. They are having some issues with the wheel fairing, but that's easily solvable. The only problem is it's not competitive, and so that's quite a big concern for McLaren fans, but you know, they might be pulling Mercedes here. Like, Mercedes always starts off the year being like, oh, we've had a terrible testing, like, we're not going to win a single race this season, and you know, I mean, not last year, but like other years they've done pretty well, so they could be pulling Mercedes, but McLaren isn't on Mercedes level, so if they are like telling us the truth, then keep strong, McLaren fans, keep strong. Right, that was day 2, now on to day 3. AlphaTauri, now they aren't the quickest car, but they're not the slowest, so you know, they are doing good. They've had a good test, the car seems reliable, so yeah, nothing else much to say about them. Next we have Haas, and they've had a pretty good testing. I know I said the first day they had a couple of issues, but the second day was fine, and the third day was fine too. I don't know who said it, but someone said that they might be faster than McLaren, so you know, 2023 might be a good season for Haas. Now Alfa Romeo, not as good. You know that engine gearbox problem that Zhou Guanyu had? It came back on the third day, except it was Valtteri Bottas at the wheel, and yeah, that kind of like stumped their testing period. But they also seem to be faster than McLaren, or they claim to be. So yeah, that's a bit worrying for McLaren, but really good for Alfa Romeo. Alpine had a decent testing day, Ferrari had a decent testing day, and Red Bull definitely had a decent testing day since Sergio Perez topped the charts. It looks like Sergio might be the only one giving Max Verstappen a bit of competition this year, but we'll have to see. Now onto Mercedes. car, okay, not bad, but Lewis Hamilton is still complaining about the balance limitations of the car. So that means not everything from last year has been solved. The porpoising has, but the car just doesn't drive the way that Lewis Hamilton wants it to drive. I don't know what George Russell has said about it, but it will be interesting to compare them. Now, the team with the worst testing period, definitely McLaren. Their wheel fairing issue still hasn't gone away. It's a really simple issue to fix, but I guess they just need the part and they can't get the part until the next weekend. But other than that, it just looks really slow in comparison to the other cars. Will Buxton has spotted Lando slamming or aggressively pushing, or maybe just aggressively tapping a door. So he doesn't seem really happy, and it'll be interesting to see how much patience he has with McLaren, because he's signed a really long contract with them. It's kind of like the talking point. Did Lando make a mistake? We don't know, but we shall see by the end of the season. Aston Martin, on the other hand, they've had by far the most impressive testing period. I won't say the best because Red Bull's obviously had the best, but Aston Martin definitely up there. Like Fernando Alonso on the third day had, I just put two fingers up for third day, had a top class race run with low tire degradation, good reliability, consistent race times as well. So I mean lap times. So Aston Martin, top notch car. If we had to put Aston Martin like in a ranking order, I would say that they're behind Ferrari and Red Bull, but I feel like they could have a little fight with Mercedes and definitely Alpine, but maybe Mercedes. So yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. But it could all change this weekend as we have the first race of the 2023 season, and I'm super excited for it and will be reacting to it. So hopefully I'll see all of you then. Bye.